Hey everyone, welcome back to the District 3 podcast, episode 268. My name is Edavine.
And this is Elena.
And I'm Miggs.
Miggs, you're dressed up in full Razorback gear. I'm guessing you've been to some Razorback games before, right? I've never been to one in my entire life.
I've been to a few Razorback games. I usually like to tailgate and stuff, but been there a few as a fan. I've been to a crap ton as working. I do a lot of camera work and just production stuff. So I've been, almost every weekend for 4 years. I used to.
Wow. Well, you used to live on Dixon, didn't you?
Yeah, that too. That was an easy.
Not like you actually lived on Dixon. Not like you were just partying all the time.
No, yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
You lived on Dixon. You never left.
Yeah, no. Thank you for clarifying. But yeah, no. And that was an easy walk to work. I was just walk the hill. Man, I hated that campus, man. That thing is uphill both ways.
Oh, yeah. You can't run from the hills.
How about you, Elena? Have you ever been to a Razorback game before?
I actually have never been to a football game. And I even bought, the student pass whenever I was there. But I don't know. I didn't know how it worked. And I was too scared to ask people. This is very embarrassing because I've never admitted this. Because I thought I just got tickets. I think so, but I didn't know that. I thought I just got the ticket on my account. I thought that's what I paid $200 for or something, I don't know.
I'm trying to make it an
basketball
effort.
games, though, I have gone. I love watching basketball.
I'm trying to make it an effort to go to one of the games. I've never been to a football game before, a Razorback football game. And I'm trying to make an effort to go this year.
Shit, this year, me, you, Dr. Campos.
Let's go.
We need you the full experience.
Show up early. Discounts on the
you need to show up early, go to the tailgate, get saucy, go in. Don't care about the game because you're too hyped up.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good segue to talk about who our guests are today. With us, we have you've been here 2 times? Is it your second time?
This is my
Third?
second time. No, it's my second time.
Yeah, you hit him 2 times, Dr. Dre?
We have Dr. Campos, we have Nadia Ortiz, and Breanna Ramirez from the SIAS sorority. Thank you.
Oh, how's it go?
Thank you all for joining us today. I'm excited about having this conversation. Your national conference is next week. Mm-hmm. When this episode comes out, it'll be this week. Mm-hmm. So just a little bit of background information on y'all. Obviously, I've met Dr. Campos. We've had her on. I've known her for a few years. Nadia, Breanna, are y'all originally from Arkansas, or did y'all move here to go to the university? Whoever wants to start first.
I'll go ahead and go first. I was born and raised in Siloam, so from here in Arkansas. And I went to Siloam all my life, and so I've been around the university for a while. So just going to the York campus just made sense for me.
And Siloam is I like that town because I used to go a lot. I would take my mom, drop her off at the casino. Mom would be like, I want to go to the casino. She doesn't drive. So, I would have to make the drive from, Springdale to Siloam, and then I'd be like, okay, what do I do? Because I wouldn't want to go in the casino, smell smoke, and I was like, I'm not into this. Mm-hmm. So I would drop her off, and then I'd just drive around. Sometimes I would go, to the 24-hour fitness that they had there, and then they also have, a bowling alley, and there was, a game exchange that I would drop. What did you do when you were growing up in Silent Springs? What do you do for fun in Silent Springs? And I don't mean that as, I'm not trying to be a hater. I just want to know, someone that's actually from there, what was it like? What did you do for fun?
When I was growing up, I really didn't do anything. I stayed home a lot. I'm a homebody. But a lot of people around, in the school, would just, go to Walmart and wander around. I don't know if you guys have, heard about small towns, just, Walmart, just wandering around the store. I think that's what happened most of the time.
I've gone to Siloam Springs, growing up a lot, because my mom opened up an office out there, and so we've seen the growth. Now you guys have a Panda Express, and Wendy's.
There's so much growth.
It's one of those big Wendy's
Whataburger.
Yeah, Whataburger, it's gotten a lot of, it's just grown so much. And I recently learned that a lot of refugees actually moved to Siloam Springs, and it's, opened up, as a very friendly spot for, people who are new to this country, and, all of this. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's a weird little hub of people that you think is going to be in the middle of nowhere, but you've got a good mix of people, and it's just growing, but does not look like there's anything to do there. But go to downtown.
Yeah, there's a cute little park, I remember, that has a little small, it's a little small, I don't even know what it's, a little bridge where that doesn't have any sides. So like if your car goes off, like you fall in the water kind of thing. I'm not sure if you know what park I'm talking about. It's like a tennis court and on the side, but then it had like a little bridge. And I remember my sister would like just to scare me, she would want to go over it. I'm like, I'm gonna get off this car.
It's like near the convention, like the little like event center they have.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. It's close to downtown.
Yeah, I used to do quinceañeras there.
Then y'all have John Brown University there as well.
Oh, yeah. Great film program, by the way. Anyone
really?
who's interested, yeah.
So why did you choose? Why did you choose the U of A? Why did you want to go there?
I think because my first year I actually ended up commuting back and forth from Siloam. I was still living with my parents. So it just made sense distance-wise, and I think I didn't really want to go that far away from my family. And also just growing up, I came to the university for other events, and I watched like my half-siblings grow up and graduate there. So I've been already familiar with the university.
And where did your family live in Silent Springs for a long time, or was it something where y'all moved there a few years ago? What's that story like? What's your family story like?
Yeah, so my mom actually immigrated here from the Philippines when she was about, I think, 12 years old. So she grew up the rest of her life being in Siloam, so that was nice for her. And then my dad also immigrated from Mexico. I'm not really sure on the background on his part, but they ended up meeting at a place, like a workplace in like Gentry. So then they just settled down in Siloam, and that's how I came to be.
I got two questions to you. Do you know Tagalog or Spanish?
Actually, neither of my parents taught me their languages.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just know English.
And question number 2 would be, did you like Fayetteville? Because I know like a lot of people like in smaller towns, like they see it like as like the big city. You know, did you see that? Like, was that kind of like, oh, I want to go there because I don't know, the hogs or whatever?
Yeah, actually, so I moved here about 2 years ago now. And I remember actually kind of getting a little bit of shock, like living here for the first time. And I was like, wow, things are open late at night or 24 hours. It's crazy. So, yeah, it was a little bit of adjustment from Siloam.
How about you, Nadia? Why did you decide to come to the U of A?
I decided to come to the U of A because I live really close, like just like 30 minutes away. Like I live in like Lincoln, Arkansas.
Okay.
And like in high school, I was a part of like this program called like Upward Bound, which is like when we get to stay on campus. So I was like really familiar with that. So I like wanted to be part of university.
That makes sense. And Lincoln is a small town, but there's a good amount of Latinos there, right? I mean, it's a small, but like I guess for the population, because I've met also some Latinos from like Lincoln, and they tend to like go to the U of A, and then they tend to like just stay in Fayetteville and like not move back, unfortunately. You know, and I've been there a lot for my past work when I used to work with the jails in Washington County. I would go to the little small courthouse there in Lincoln. So living in Lincoln for you, what was that like? What was the experience of just growing up there for you? Does it bring you joy? Were you just trying to get out, or what do you recall?
I mean, I kind of does bring me joy because like since it's so small, like I had so much memories there, especially like in kindergarten. Like they would just make us like walk around Lincoln as our field trip, and it's just
entire city.
That's what we did.
2 minutes later, done. No, but shout out to the people of Lincoln, though. There's a lot of good people that I know from over there.
The director of Minari is from Lincoln.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have my friend Kayla, which is probably about a decade older than you, but she says like she was like they were like the only Hispanic family like when she was there. And are you an expert at apples?
I am not.
Why is that a thing?
Lincoln is really big on like they're so proud of their apples over there. Like it's crazy.
Oh yes, we have an apple festival that's like at the first week of October, like on the weekend.
So like coming up.
Yes, there's also free apple slices.
There's this little burger shack that I always see, or I guess it's a diner, or anyway, I always wanted to go, but I never. Anyway,
in Lincoln?
Yeah. Let's go.
I'm just after the football game. I'm just surprised you're cultured in Lincoln. That's just kind of threw me off guard that you know. Is it because you go film over there, or what? How do you know?
No, I mean, just I've been there like a few times, but all through random stuff, and driving, I mean, before when I moved to Arkansas, I used to drive. Drive and we'll just leave it at
that. and I guess this question goes for Nadia and for Dr. Campos. Y'all were talking about how Nadia's big sister was part of the SIAS before. Can y'all talk a little bit? For life,
not before.
That's why Migs asked me before y'all got here. He was like, "Are the people coming still SIAS?" I'm like, "They're SIAS forever." It's
forever. Low-key, even after you die, you get put into we have a chapter where there's a chapter for deceased hermanas. So it's like literally even like beyond, and there's like ceremonies for that and stuff like that too, so it's for life. Yeah.
Oh my god. That's cool though.
Yeah.
Y'all really took that seriously.
Yeah, we took that seriously.
But can y'all talk about that history of like her sister, Nadia's sister, and I know that you have a history with her too, Dr. Campos, so if y'all want to explain a little bit about that.
So Nadia's older sister, Cynthia, she's my line sister, so the process is kind of confusing, but basically, if you're familiar with Greek life, you know that there are sort of like pledge classes. Cynthia and I were basically a part of the same pledge class, although we call them lines. So yeah, she's my line sister. I crossed fall 2017, so it's been a while. But it really is like for life. Like Nadia's sister and I, like we get lunch every once in a while and we catch up, and it always feels like no time has passed. I mean, now it's a little harder because obviously we all live in different places. We're in different like stages in our life. But yeah, so I've known Nadia's sister for a while, and then Nadia's like a Nepo Sia now because she's also in our organization. So yeah.
And how is the relationship now with you and the sorority chapter, Dr. Campos, because you're a professor at the University of Arkansas there. So how does that relationship for you? Like, what do you do to still be involved with the activities that the SIAS do?
Yeah, so we have graduate chapters, and they tend to be regional. So our graduate chapter here is Gamma Mu for the state of Arkansas. And, I mean, so they have an advisor on campus. Her name is Alexandra, and she's also in the graduate chapter. And then I help advise when I can in my role as like a professor, because I think sometimes it's also easier for me to kind of know what's going on campus. This semester I got a new office with a window, so I've been more open about letting students come to my office too. So Nadia comes every once in a while, and I have like snacks there, and I try to keep like feminine hygiene products and just like create a space where people feel like they can come and sit there, even if they're a part of the organization or outside of the organization. Okay. But yeah.
I think everybody at home is wondering this, but what kind of snacks?
I bought the like hot Cheeto variety pack from my class. I wasn't going to get like the Doritos Lay's or anything. I got the like it's like Dorito Flamas, like Funyuns, hot Cheetos. I have like fruit snacks, and then I also have like Pedialyte, because I'm like, these kids do not take care of themselves, I have Pedialyte in case they're like getting sick or something.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were gonna ask when you said like when you asked that question. I thought you were gonna ask more about like the history of the SIAS here, but I'm gonna do that.
I was just like, snacks.
For those that don't know, what are the SIAS? For those that didn't listen to the episode with Gabby Cáceres that we did a few months back, can y'all describe what makes this sorority special? And we already know, but we would like to hear it in your words.
Yeah. So I'll do a little bit of the history. I'll let Breanna and Nadia talk about like maybe what motivated them to want to join, because they're new, right? I've been in this organization for quite some time now, so to me it's almost like second nature at this point. But so our full name is Hermandad de Sigma Iota Alpha Incorporada, and we are a Latina-based sorority, but we're not Latina exclusive, and we are the only Latina-based sorority in the state of Arkansas. There are a ton of multicultural Greek organizations, but we're the only one in this state. And the first chapter was here at the University of Arkansas, Beta Beta. That started in 2011. Since then, we've actually expanded quite a lot in Arkansas. We have Beta Chi and Beta Kappa, which are at the University of Central Arkansas and then Arkansas State University. And this past semester, Arkansas Tech just had their founding line, so they have a colony now. So when they're new and they haven't gotten their chapter letters yet, because they haven't been established for some time, yet they're still called colonies. So Arkansas Tech just had their first, founding line. And so it's really exciting because I think it kind of shows how large also the Latino community has grown in the state of Arkansas, and how we're creating those spaces for people who might go to schools that are predominantly white or don't have those resources for underrepresented students. So that's sort of the history of it.
It's gotten so big, that one of my relatives was actually part of the chapter at UCA.
At UCA, yeah.
Her name's Diane Trujillo.
Oh,
she's
yes.
my little cousin. Now she's a teacher. I think she might be is it P. Ridge, I believe.
Yeah, she's in the graduate chapter actually.
Oh,
so,
so that's my little cousin.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see the growth. You said that the national organization began in 1990.
Yeah, 1990.
So that's 24 years now.
Yeah.
And I think I
More.
sometimes
Yeah, that's 30.
Yeah,
34 years.
Yeah. You're like trying to like.
Look, it took me like 2 times to pass algebra 2. Okay.
Gangster
tell.
rap.
Us 90s are like we're still under 30. We're still under 30.
Yeah, I was trying to pass off as a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
But it's almost as old as I am.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg wasn't even an artist.
That's true. 1992, baby. But that's so cool that there's now like a place in all these different universities where Latinas can feel included. Because I'm not sure what the history looks like in regards to just sororities in general and them involving Latinas and like black women. I'm not sure how that. And I'm not sure if y'all have had any experience or know anything about that.
Well, the history of Greek life is really interesting because, Greek life is really big in the South, but to my understanding, and I think this is partially true, but typically like fraternal organizations began mostly among men, and that was in order to kind of, make sure that resources stayed within certain groups of people, and that really started when schools started to allow women into universities, and so that's why we see the emergence of fraternal organizations, and then we see the emergence of sororities in order to combat those inequalities that started to emerge because of fraternal organizations, and likewise with NPHC organizations, which are black fraternities and sororities, historically black fraternities and sororities. Those also emerge in order to create these spaces for people because they weren't being allowed into these organizations. And ours is a little bit unique because our organization is, I would say, compared to some other organizations, a little bit newer. And 1990 comes much later than the civil rights era and stuff like that. So, but there is then this emergence of multicultural Greek organizations to also kind of, our organization's mission really is about fostering and educating people about Latino issues, and so I think it comes out of wanting to also create a space that specifically focuses on Latino issues and stuff. So yeah.
You see, I always wondered if that was a thing, because I don't talk to a lot of people and have conversations about fraternities or sororities. I just don't, So this is the only time I have to ask these questions. Was there any kind of a history of racism and people being excluded from these organizations? Because sometimes when I drive by and I see the different sororities or fraternities, a lot of times they don't look very diverse. Even when I see them out in the community and stuff, they don't. So I worry, and I'm like, okay, is this why there's a surge of Latina sororities or black sororities as well, fraternities? That's sad. I think personally, it makes me happy to see what y'all are doing, and I also wanted to ask, going back to you, Nadia. What was that decision for you to wanting to join a sorority? Was it one of those things because your bigger sister was already involved that it was just kind of I have to do it too? Or did you want to do it for a specific reason yourself?
Well, at first, I was kind of putting off trying to do it, but my older sister was telling me you got to do it, just try at least. And so I went to the informational, and it made me want to join because how close they were, so nice. But I still kind of felt I shouldn't have been there because I don't speak Spanish very well. So that was one of the things. But when I got more closer with them, it didn't seem to matter, and it brought me making me want to keep learning about myself or and the Hispanic culture as well.
That makes sense. I think, Latinos, specifically people in the university, are much more accepting now of when folks, when in your household, if maybe if Spanish doesn't get spoken enough, or maybe it's one of those things where because I know a lot of people that were told by their parents, like, yo, speak English so you can, like, assimilate and you can, like, do what you need to do, and so people won't look at it as weird. And I feel like people are more accepting now of understanding that not all Latinos speak Spanish, but people still care about their culture and, like, want to be part of it. And what were you saying, Migs?
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, what's that girl on Beetlejuice?
Jenna Ortega?
Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, like they're doing a big old movement with her, right?
Yeah,
And her
like
not speaking Spanish. Like, it's okay not to speak Spanish.
You're Hispanic enough.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
And I was wondering, have you been able to go to any of the national conferences? And, like, what's the kind of, inspiration that you get when you see these women that are Hispanic in leadership, sometimes in the, Fortune 500 or, just like that experience?
Well, I'm the only one that has had the opportunity to go to convention yet. Like I mentioned, they've crossed last fall, so they've had one semester of being in the sorority, and our convention is always in September of the year, every year in September, sorry. I've gone to one before. I went to the one in New York City. It was my first time in New York City.
New York City?
New York! Yeah. Worst experience, though, because none of us were prepared. Also, we flew out of Dallas because we wanted to fly Southwest, which was such a bad idea. We're like, we're saving money, and then we're like, driving 10 hours total, and I was like, this is not saving money. But it was really cool because I think, each region will have their own way that they run, the organization, like the way they run their chapter. And being in New York, it was, like, completely different. The Hermanas there, they participate in the Puerto Rican, like, parade in New York City.
Oh, that's cool.
We have strolls in our organization, which are, like, they're basically like dances. They're really in tune with, like, the strolls up at the north. Like, they're really good at them. And I was like, I need to learn from them. They have it down. Like,
dude, I was going to ask you, like, do you guys have, like, because I've seen, like, on TV, like, those stomp, like.
It's like stepping, stomping. Like, we have strolls. I would say it is very regional, though. Like, a lot of the schools in the Northeast region stroll probably better than we do. And I think it's just because their chapters have also been established for longer, and I think, like, it's more common to have more multicultural Greek organizations on their campus. We only have one other fraternity, a part of, like, the United Greek Council, and they actually don't have strolls or steps in their organization. So I think it's kind of harder to foster that here. But
have you guys been practicing?
Let's
see it.
I'm too old for that. My knees are gonna, like.
Breanna, I want to talk to you about, like, you talked a little bit about why you joined the organization, but what are some of the things that the SIAS are doing right now, like community service wise, or how does the SIAS right now get involved in the community here in Northwest Arkansas?
Our philanthropies support One Heartland, actually, so any of the fundraisers and stuff that we do, a portion of that does get donated back to them. Right now, we've just been trying to get involved more on campus and just spread awareness of, like, our presence there, because we are kind of getting a little small. I think there's about 3 of us right now active.
In the University of Arkansas?
Yes.
Like, usually it's bigger, right? Usually there's more?
Yeah, I think last semester we had about, like, 5 before, so I think we've graduation. So, yeah. Other than that, if anyone else has anything else.
So I think COVID also affected a little bit of, like, being able to be on campus and have that presence. But yeah, when I was in the chapter, there was like 20 of us. So it never gets as big as, like, the houses that you'll see down, like, on Greek Road, just because there's not a lot of Latinos at the University of Arkansas. And again, even though we're not Latino based, I think obviously we attract perhaps students that are more underrepresented. So but they're putting in the work. Even though there's 3 of them, they're putting in the work.
What is the type of benefits that people get from joining a sorority?
Or even it can be like a personal, like, what do you get out of it? What do you feel that you're getting out of this experience?
So for me personally, whenever I joined, like even through the process of like me joining, I learned a lot more about like my culture and my roots, because I was never really exposed to that growing up. I think my parents had kind of like accepted but also wanted me to not really have a lot of experience in that field because they just wanted me to like be here in Arkansas and grow, you know, and do well in school. So just getting to learn a lot more about where like my like family is from and extra things and the things that they went through also, getting to be here in Arkansas.
What do y'all think, talking about how like the group is much smaller right now, what would you say are like the barriers that you all are finding as like people that are trying to recruit people into the sorority? Not to convince the women, but to try to get them on board. Like, what do you think are the biggest barriers at the moment? If y'all have put any thought into that.
I think specifically from our population, there's a lot of like stigma around sororities in general. I think that SIA is very unique in that way. I think like when you think of a sorority, I don't think SIA fits that picture, but in a positive way because we uplift each other, and we're really heavy on academic excellence. But if anyone else has anything else?
I think that's true. I think it is this stigma that, like, you know, like if you watch, I don't know if y'all grew up watching this movie called like Snow White. It has what's her name in it? No, it's Sydney White, not Snow White. Sydney White. Have y'all watched
You threw
it?
me off with that.
You
I was
know?
like, of course I've seen Snow White.
Amanda Bynes, yes.
Sydney
Amanda
White, you
Bynes,
said?
Sydney White. Or like any type of like, if you ever watched House Bunny or something like that. Like, there is an era where there's like, I think a lot of movies about like fraternities and sororities, and it's always like, they're like spraying them with like water bottles and like
road trip and what, old school?
Yeah, and they're like,
oh, well, I guess not sororities, but
yeah, but it is this like stigma that they're like bullying each other, and it's like very there's a lot of cattiness and like mean girl energy associated with sororities, and so I think that is like it's hard to like be like, do this. We promise we're not mean. I'm just kidding. You know, it's like, I think that's the stigma.
Do you feel like
hazing? That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, I think that's illegal now, maybe.
So
it's always. I think it's always been illegal. I think they just kind of got away with it.
But do you think that? Like, do you have to do, like, marketing in order for you to grab people? Or, like, do, like, people come in there, they're not automatically know, this is that, this is that, this is that, or do you have to, like, push yourself for everybody to know? So you're doing your own marketing?
Yeah,
stuff.
We're basically doing our own marketing.
Well, something that I've also learned from, like, I've had some friends who've joined, like, sororities and some friends who are in the fraternity and stuff, and, like, you know, some key points were like, well, they make those connections. Like, this is a connection for life, right? And so if you go into a job, or if you're, you know, you can find out if someone in your sorority works there, and then you have that opportunity to, like, find out, you know, who to talk to or how to do the interview. Like, really, like, when it comes to those jobs and those openings, and, like, it's kind of crazy to see how many people are in the same sororities and how they all work in the same location sometimes, because they are able to kind of, like, you know, put in a good word for you. And then also with, like, the academic part, you know, supposedly sometimes, you know, those big fraternities on campus, they have all the answers to everything, you know, but it's like, you know, they've been there for years, so they're able to have that there. So I was just kind of wondering, you know, does the SIA, like, I know our chapter is so small here, but, you know, who are some important people, and, like, what are some of those connections that maybe Dr. Campos, you've, like, you know, experienced and stuff?
Well, it is, I think mostly, it is like a networking opportunity for sure, because you'll go to nationals. I mean, it'll be different here because they're coming to our state.
Yeah.
But when I went to nationals, like, I showed up and I was like, I know these people. Like, I may have never met them before in my life, never had a conversation with them, only know them online, but it felt like we all had this, like, shared experience that you can't really, like, describe to anyone unless they've done it as well. So it was, like, nice, and then you feel comfortable, like, asking, like, maybe personal questions about the job market or whatever. And we have there is this really, like, famous, she's an actress, and she's a SIA too, but she was actually the guest speaker for last year's convention. She does more like acting classes. I think her name is Gabby. I should know her name, but she's, like, an older hermana, and I, like, saw it, and I was like, oh my god, she's verified on Instagram? She's my hermana? I was like, let me follow her. But even beyond that, like Nestle Silva, who's from the University of Arkansas, she's worked for the Biden administration. I will email her. I'm like, can I give your number out to this other CEO who is also interested in political science and wants to do an internship in DC? And she's like, yes. Like, no questions asked. Huh?
Springdale High School graduate.
Springdale High School graduate. And congratulations, Irvin, on that, by the way, on winning an award. I saw that. Yeah, I think, like, no questions asked is kind of how it feels sometimes. Where I feel comfortable being like, can I ask you for this favor? And I think... Yeah, and I feel like I tell them too, like, if you need something, let me know, and I will advocate for you on campus. So.
Yeah. And if someone goes back to school, can they, like, join? Like, you know, what's that kind of look like?
Like, back to undergrad?
Yeah, undergrad, or even, like, you know, like, graduate school. Like, if
you
they
want to go to an informational?
We got an informational coming up.
Trying to join, Elena?
Yeah, so for undergrad, you'll be a part of, like, the Beta chapter. We've got... an open informational next Wednesday, or this Wednesday, or yeah.
Whenever this podcast, the Wednesday that whenever this comes.
We'll drop it in the morning so people can still hopefully make it in time.
Today.
You actually can also join graduate chapters. So if you're like if you're in grad school or if you're a professional and you've already graduated, it happens. It's less common because there is some sort of sense that like, oh, you join sororities when you're like in college, like. Yeah. But there are people who join it at the graduate level, and we've had 2 people in the state of Arkansas who have joined directly into the graduate chapter. Oh. So, yeah.
You know, going back to that conversation we were having before about, like, the history of sororities and fraternities, I feel like when I was more uneducated on what it was, I was kind of a hater of sororities and fraternities.
Yeah.
Like, it aggravated me. I was like, what? So, like, people... I thought it was like people that didn't have friends that needed friends and like went to university and this is an easy way to make friends, right? But I got like more of a soft spot after like meeting a lot of SIAS, meeting some folks from black fraternities, and then I met some folks also from the FIODAs at the university as well, and I understood more when I had conversations. So that's why, you know, what you described earlier about how some people have a perception of what a fraternity, a sorority is. That's why these kind of conversations are important, because there's probably someone listening right now that maybe thought the same way that I thought like 15 years ago, and now understands that like there is a Latina sorority at the University of Arkansas that's not going to haze you, and they just want to bring you into their sisterhood. They want to be there for you, and they want you to succeed, you know, in this university journey.
See, I always feel like I missed out by not joining like a frat or something. It's like an experience that I missed. But I think part of that I wanted all that hazing and stuff like that. With the keggers. Give me my beer. What do you call those? Not an intern, those pledge or whatever. I know.
Oh, yeah. Interns, yeah.
So now there's SIAS at the University of Arkansas, at UCA. The colony is at Fort Smith?
No, Arkansas Tech.
Arkansas Tech. And isn't theirs in Fort Smith something?
There's whenever schools show interest, sometimes there will be like I think sometimes those come out of like registered student organizations, and so because
Joanna over there.
UFIS is yes, Joanna lives over there. She's in our graduate chapter. UFIS is about to be an HSI, an Hispanic Serving Institution, so they have a lot of Latinos that already kind of organize in some way. So that process is a little, I think, complicated. I'm not really sure because I've never really helped with expansion, but so
is there like a main person over all the chapters in Arkansas?
We have our regional district person. She actually doesn't live here, but we all kind of work autonomously. I mean, like, so Gamma Mu focuses on Gamma Mu, and then people from Gamma Mu will help advise the undergraduate chapters. But they really, I mean, they have like full control over how they want to do events and stuff like that. Like, there's not a set standard of, you know, I mean, they have to have certain types of events. Like they need to do like community service and social and educational events. But we're not telling them what they need to do. They have a lot of agency over that.
May I recommend a taco social? Or it could be a pupusa social or whatever. Because I would go to that. Yeah. Anyway.
You want the invite?
So y'all have, when this episode comes out, it's going to be the national convention. Is it convention or conference? Convention, and it's going to be for the first time here in Northwest Arkansas. Can you all give more details on what that event is? Is it more of a like only SIAS kind of thing? If it is, and you just want to educate people on what y'all are doing that weekend or during the week?
It's gonna be the weekend. It's like Friday to Sunday.
So what's gonna happen at that convention?
Well, we're going to be super busy the whole week next week. They have a ton of events coming up. So maybe if you want to talk about the events leading up to convention, then I'll talk about convention a little bit.
Yeah. So on Wednesday, we're going to have our open informational. So that's going to be for any student at the university that is interested in joining SIA. We'll be able to give them a lot more information on like what that will look like for them. And just about us in general. And then, is it Thursday for the skate night?
Thursday night is skate night, yeah.
We will be at the Starlight Stadium.
Yeah, that one is open to everyone, too. That's a social event, so anyone can go.
When is it?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. And so this comes out Wednesday. So when is it from?
Tomorrow.
It'll be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll be there.
Y'all doing anything on Friday?
So Friday we have so convention is mostly hermanas only. We will be out and about, so you will see. Right now we have over 100 people coming to the state of Arkansas to come for convention.
Like what parts of the country are they coming from?
They're coming from California, from New York, from Chicago, from down. Some people are coming from Atlanta area, and so we have people coming from all over Florida, Texas. So literally all over the country coming to the state of Arkansas, some for the first time. Obviously, people who are closer to this area, like Texas, have been here before. But it'll be exciting. Most of all of the convention is mostly for us here. They are mostly like educational workshops about like how to be an organization, how to be a leader on campus, and stuff like that. We will be going to box karaoke. So on Friday night, which will be fun. So yeah, we try to mix a little bit of fun with business, but yeah, it will be.
Is there like, I'm guessing it's more than 4 people that are organizing this, or did it fall on you 4 that are part of the chapter to organize everything?
No. So yeah, we have committees. So we have a convention committee, and actually that one is mostly. So we have a national executive board. Mm-hmm. That manages like all of the organization's stuff at a national. I don't know how they do it because basically we all do this like volunteer. I mean, once you're a professional or a graduate, you're doing it kind of on your own time, right? Mm-hmm. So like people who serve on the NEB are taking their time to kind of like help organize these chapters, these undergraduate chapters. But we have a committee. I'm part of the committee. We've been meeting quite a lot and trying to get support also from the community, and I've been creating like food guides and like drinking guides and stuff like that for people coming here, because I think the perception is that there's not a lot of stuff to do here.
Let me see. Tell me some of the places you're sending people.
Well, the number one place I'm sending people, and shout out to Bites and Bowls, they actually donated sunglasses, 100 and like whatever sunglasses, I think 150 sunglasses to us to give out to the hermanas, so that way they can like protect their eyes with this heat that we've been having. And they've been super gracious, and so yeah, they've been really nice. And I actually found out I'm somewhat kind of related to Sandra, who owns Bites and Bowls, which is so interesting.
I thought y'all were.
Yeah, we sure
was. Isn't like your mom's last name also her last name?
Yeah, she has the exact name as my mom. I was like, wait, are we related?
I thought before, I mean, I had seen your mom before, but I thought like your mom owned Bites and Bowls.
No.
And then I met the other Sandra, and I'm like, oh, this is
we're like third Sandra. Cousins or something like that, we found out. But yeah, so I've been sending them. I did like a taco tour, a Springdale taco tour.
Name one of the places where you're sending people.
Name 3 places in Springdale.
I got one that you might not have named, but can you still add it on there?
Which one?
El Chefe at the
this
airport.
Guy,
El Chefe at the airport?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a new place?
It's been there for about maybe close to a year.
Really?
Best Mexican food in the state.
In the airport?
I'll put it against anybody.
Well, they're all flying into XNA, so I'll add it.
Not XNA.
Wait,
it's at the regional airport on Powell and Springdale.
Oh.
Yeah. They have really good food.
That's where I keep my private jet.
But it's a really cool spot because you can literally eat there. The food's good. They have alcohol if you want it, and you can see the planes land and take off from the seat.
Cool.
You just walk into the regional airport and you just go upstairs and the restaurant's open there.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, yeah, well, I'll add it to the list.
Please do.
Like I said, I'm sure what you picked is fine.
That was not a sponsored ad, just so you know. But wanted to ask you, one of the questions that we ask all our guests is, what do y'all do to take care of your mental health, especially right now with all this that's happening at the moment? Some of you might be overwhelmed, maybe you're stressed because of all this planning and all this involvement. But what are some things that y'all do to take care of yourselves whenever you're, just you by yourself?
Yeah, for me, getting to express myself creatively is something that I love to partake in, and it just gives me a minute to relax from daily life.
You give artist vibes, Breanna.
Really? Oh my gosh, I love that.
Do you draw or something?
I made my earrings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you probably can't see them, but
that's cool.
Yeah, I love to do I'll play music. I'll play my flute. I used to do that in high school. Just making earrings out of clay, beads, stuff like that. And then my recent favorite thing is to go running. So that is a new thing for me, and I'm loving it.
Makes sense. What about you, Nadia?
For me, I really love to read. And another thing is, I like to walk around my town with my parents.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Walk around Lincoln?
Yes.
2 minutes and I'm going to That's cool.
Apple trees.
That's cool. That's cool because it's that's one of the things, my family recently moved 5 minutes close to my house. Oh. So I have them it's literally a park in between us. And one thing that I've been trying to do, which I haven't gotten it done, next week I will do it, is walk with my family around the park. Try to get 30 minutes in, because it's good for our health, and we're trying to combat that diabetes in our family, and it's just a good bonding to be with your family and just walk. Back in the day, we used to walk, me, my grandma, my dad, and my sister, and my grandma would make us pray the rosary. So we'd have to we couldn't stop walking until we were done with the Santa Maria and the Litania and all of that. So that's cool. I'm glad you get to do that. What about you, Dr. Campos?
I watch TV. Honestly, that's the way I kind of unwind. I just need something that's mindless and
The Bachelor.
Like the Housewives, the Mormon Housewives?
I haven't watched the Mormon Housewives, and I haven't watched I've only ever watched one season of The Bachelor, which was Joey's season, and I really liked it, but I don't know. Honestly, I rewatch shows. I rewatch The Vampire Diaries. I've seen that show 100 times. So.
Oh wow. Is that good?
It's not that it's that good. I just think I know what's going to happen, so I'm not stressed by it. I'm okay, I know exactly what's going to happen.
It's like your comfort show.
Yeah, my comfort show.
I feel that.
Is that one of those shows you put on so you can kind of be on your phone and do other stuff too?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
New Girl. I do that with New Girl.
Oh, yeah, I like New Girl, yeah.
The Office, for me. Even though it's kind of like a white show, but I think it's still enjoyable.
Well, I think I do that with wrestling. That way I can just go through my phone. What's going on?
Just go to sleep.
Oh, cool promo? Hold on.
So, for everybody listening, this would be the Wednesday of the convention, which starts on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And then...
That's this Saturday, Urban?
This Saturday. And then Sunday, too?
Yeah, Sunday morning.
Okie dokie. And just the last thing, if anybody listening that's like a Latina high schooler or is just starting at the university and is interested possibly about joining the SIAS chapter here at the University of Arkansas, what do they do?
Go to our informationals.
Yes.
And the informational is tonight.
It's tonight,
At what time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday morning, 6 p.m., go to the University of Arkansas. What part of the university is it at? Where do they have to go?
It's going to be in the library, Mullins Library.
Okie dokie.
And if they miss today because they listen to it tomorrow, where can they find all that information?
I think our best bet is going to be our Instagram page, SIAS.
Go to the university. Don't just pull up at the convention because that'll just be weird. That'll be awkward. They'll be having a good time.
Oh, is it? My bad.
Yeah, but for everybody listening, that was episode 268 of the District 3 podcast. My name is Irving.
This is Elena.
And I'm Miggs.
Signing off with the SIAS.